Darcy from Santa Rosa Gymnastics with my daughter Catherine, and we are talking about the press to handstand. When I say these words, some gymnasts go, oh, and you see this look of terror on them. The press to handstand is a vital skill that all gymnasts really strive to learn, but it can be difficult to understand. It does involve some flexibility, it does involve some strength, but it mainly involves a lot of technique. It is going to be extremely helpful in balance beam work and in bar work to have these press to handstands. So, when we first start with press to handstands, we're going to start with just your feet on a raised surface, right? It could be the couch, it could be a chair. Catherine's going to start in a straddle. She's going to have her hands directly on the floor, completely and directly underneath her shoulders. Now, all I want her to do is we're going to try to rock forward. The idea of the press to handstand is that the shoulders go in front of the hands, so you can see her shoulders, and her hips get above her hands, just so that she can rock up to the tops of her toes, take the weight off of her feet, and then put it back. And then she's going to do it again. She's going to rock forward, try to get the hips up, lift the hips up, take the weight off of her feet, and put it back. Relax. You can also do the same thing on the floor. So your hands go down, you lean forward, you lift your hips up and your shoulders go over your hands. You see how I get to the very tops of my toes, so I have very little weight in my feet, and then I go back. And then I lean forward, and I lift, and I go back. That's the start of it. Really works the lower abdominals. Then, Catherine will get back into our position, and she's going to start trying to lift her feet up off of the raised surface. So she's just going to lift a little bit and then put them back down. Now it's really important that they don't jump. And I know some kids think, oh, I'm not jumping. Oh, they're jumping. Okay? So lean those shoulders forward, hips lift up, and they lift their feet up and put them back down. As they get better with this, they will lift their feet higher and higher. This time I'm going to have Catherine, after she lifts, go through a really wide straddle and bring her feet together into a handstand. So she leans forward, she contracts her stomach muscles. Oh, who saw that? Did you guys see Catherine just jump? Oh yes, she did. That's okay, we'll give her another shot. You ready? You gonna be okay there, kid? Yep. All right. So she leans forward, she lifts her hips up, she lifts, goes through a big straddle and comes up to a big handstand. Now just as important is the press down. So she goes through a big straddle, slowly leans forward, slowly brings her feet back to touch down onto the boxes. Relax. This can put some pressure on your wrists, so make sure you stretch your wrists and roll your wrists out after every time that you try. You can stretch them the opposite direction, is very, very helpful. When the student gets the straddle press to handstand on a raised surface, then go ahead and take it down to the floor, or just take it down to another level. So if this was, say, an ottoman, okay, in your house, or a couch, then take it down to something a little shorter, maybe a couple books stacked up, and then you can take away the books so that it's a gradual learning experience, and then they get down onto the floor. Hopefully what they can do is rock forward, lift their feet up into a straddle handstand, hold it for a couple seconds, slowly lower back down. Really advanced kids are going to start from a straddle on the ground. They're going to press up and lift their hips up and go. This takes a lot of work, guys. This is not something that these kids are going to learn like that. Some of our kids have been in the gym for 2 to 3 years and still struggle with learning how to do a press to handstand. Some of our optional level gymnasts are still struggling with the press to handstand. So this is it's not an easy skill. It's not a super difficult skill, but it is challenging to learn. All right, so give your gymnast encouragement and support, and just remember that the key to this is getting the body weight over top of the hands, making sure the gymnast is strong enough to hold her body weight over top of her hands, and then she simply just lifts her legs up. The lower abdominal muscles are engaged, the hip flexors and the quads. You can also do it one other way, and I don't have a portable wall, but I'm gonna pretend like I'm on the wall. Catherine, can you get set back up? Actually, you can do it on the ground. So if she has her shoulders, if I'm the wall, right? And she leans and puts her shoulders against my leg as the wall. She braces against the wall, and then she can lift up into that handstand. And it's a lot easier if she passes through a very large straddle on the way up and a large straddle on the way down. Now parents, if you want to spot this, you go ahead and put your quads right there for them to lean their shoulders on. You grab a hold, they're going to just do the hips or even the quads. They lean, they push against you, and you just give them a little assistance. Of course, once they get up there, we check their form, we press them down, make sure they're not wiggling, and then we straddle and we bring it back down nice and slowly. Okay? That way, it's a workout for you and your gymnast. All right, I hope you guys are practicing your press to handstands and everything else we've talked about in the past. More videos to come. Thank you.